big hand for Joey Nickel!
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I've been married for 15 years, and I have a lot of friends who have not been married that long, and they ask me what's the secret to a happy marriage. And I figured it out early on, within the first couple years. It is separate blankets. Yes? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Those of you who have separate blankets know what I'm talking about. Those of you that don't, I just changed your life. Separate blankets. And it doesn't stop there. You can do other things. It's important to have your own things in a marriage. Like, me and my wife, we now have separate shower and bathtub. I get the shower, she gets the bathtub. She can take a shower if she wants, but I'm not allowed in that bathtub. It's honestly a smart move. You don't want to clean up residue of me. So, but now we're really happy because we have separate houses. So, speaking of houses, do you guys know the app Nextdoor? You guys heard of that? Yeah. I'm on the app Nextdoor. It's just, honestly, it's mostly full of busybodies. You know what I mean? Like Cheryl saying, like, "Oh, there's a strange man across the street." It's like, Cheryl, that's your husband. I don't know. He's just wearing a hat today. That's it. But every once in a while, you get real information. You get real information. Like, we had one 3 weeks ago that said, "Warning: Peeping Tom spotted in the neighborhood." Right? That sounds scary. Except I had just started walking the neighborhood for exercise. So I thought for sure it was going to be about me, right? I thought for sure, because you see me walk in the neighborhood, nobody's going, "Yeah, he's getting exercise." Like, no, he's up to no good. We need to keep an eye on him. So I was half expecting a picture of me, right? But there was no picture of me, but it did say underneath, "And if the Peeping Tom is part of this group, just know it's a felony and carries 10 years in prison." I was like, that sounds like a lot, right? Like, that's 10 years in prison. So I wanted to know, like, what is the real penalty? But I didn't want anybody to know I was looking that up. Like, I don't want that in my browser history. Like, what is the penalty for Peeping Tom in Florida? No, that's not a good one. So the solution I came up with was to use my wife's computer. Which I did. I used my wife's computer. And turns out the penalty for Peeping Tom is, for your first offense, a maximum of 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine maximum. And it's the same penalty whether you record it or just watch. Yeah, right? Like, that doesn't sound like enough. Now we're on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like, so somebody can be out there on their iPhone with a recording of you naked, and as long as they have 6 months to kill and $1,000, they'll get away with it. That's insane. Well, a week later, there was an update. It said, update, the Peeping Tom is mostly spotted within these 4 houses. And there was a map, and my house was right in the middle. And I was like, all right, I gotta get an alibi now. Like, this is not looking good. And then the next day, the police knocked on my door. Yeah, the police knocked on my door, but he was just there to see if I got any security footage. Like, I have security cameras. He's like, hey, can I take a look at your security footage? I was like, yeah, definitely, let's pin this on somebody else. So we looked at the footage, and we caught him. Turns out we could see his full face. He looked in both my bathroom windows. Yeah, we have 2 windows. He looked in both of them, which sounds a little scary, except he was gorgeous. So now I'm flattered, right? Like, now I don't want to snitch on the guy, right? Like, and I said that to the cop. I was like, hey, he's good looking, right? And he's like, yeah, that's surprising. And I was like, and he is risking $1,000 and 6 months in prison just to see me naked. And the cop said, how do you know that? I said, don't worry about that. My wife told me about it. And then he said, actually, most of the time, they just want to see anybody naked. It doesn't matter if you're good looking. I was like, all right, you couldn't have let me have that one? You couldn't have let me just believe it and mess this up with the truth? But now I want to meet him, right? I want to actually find out. Now that I know he's good looking, I want to talk to the guy because he looked in both windows, which we have a frosted window and we have a regular window. I think he saw me in the frosted window first, and he's like, man, I don't know, I like those curves. And then he saw the regular window. He's like, oh, never mind. This is not worth $1,000. All right, thank you very much. My name is Joey Nickel.